4 holes. That's what you gotta do to get this off. That's a 3/4 inch steel plate. 4 2.5 inch grade 8 flange bolts. Here's my puller. See those indentations? Yeah, that didn't work. Here's the center shaft of my puller. Yeah, that's trash. See this? That's a 3/8 inch plate with only 2 pulling holes. That plate was flat when I tried to do it yesterday. Give you an idea here. That's how much it bent the plate. 4 holes, 4 bolts. Nothing else will do it. Tapered shaft. Briggs & Stratton has a specialized tapered shaft. If you only use 2 bolts, the flywheel will pinch the shaft. This is for medium. This is for anything 9 to 25 horsepower. This is a 17 horsepower, 2-cylinder Briggs & Stratton motor. Here's the bolts I had in the puller when I was trying to use it yesterday. See this? That is sheared off almost perfectly clean. There's a little burr right there. That's the head of the bolt. That pulled through that washer. I mean, it almost just sucked it right through the washer. There's the other bolt that didn't break yesterday. There was so much cup on these washers, I could almost not get my impact in there. These indentations right here are from that. To make this tool is very simple. All you need are some basic layout tools, a drill press, and the appropriate sized drills. This plate right here sits on top of the engine and bolts into 2 of these holes. Just like that. You take this plate and you put it over your piece of steel and you square it. Realistically, what I like to do is measure the size of your steel. So you find your center, and then you draw a straight square line to one edge, whichever edge is the most square. You can do it with a speed square. Basically, I just find the center. This is a 5-inch wide piece of steel, just under 5 inches. You find the center of the steel and you draw a line straight down the center, or scribe a line straight down the center. Then you take this and you line it up so that that line goes straight through the center of both holes. Then you use a centering punch to find the center of the hole and punch it. Once you have those 2 holes punched, take a set of calipers, and on that punch mark, you find the center of those 2 punch marks. Then you cut that number in half. For me, it was about, let's see. This is just a rough measurement. Measure your own. Don't use these numbers. Just showing you how. Alright. We're going to call that 2.75. Half of 2.75 is numbers. 1.37. So you come down to 1.37 while you're on one or the other hole, and that should be your center. You then take your center and you lock down one end, typically the outside edge, that would be here, and you draw a radius with the caliper. Then you come back over here, and from the center to this one, you draw that same radius. Where those two radiuses intersect is the bottom of this hole. This hole right here. And then you repeat the process on the other side to find where this hole goes. Then once you have those two radiuses, it'll look like a little half circle drawn between here and here. Look like a piece of pie. Like if you cut a pizza in 4 pieces, it'll look like that. Once you find those 2 points, you take this plate again and you line it up so that you can see those intersections. Then you take your center punch again and you punch it on both of them. You now have your complete layout. The bolts I had to use were 5/16 18 thread, and I had to get 2.5 inch long bolts because the 3/4 inch plate. Then you just come over to your drill press. Yes, this is what it's going to look like. So just be prepared. I pilot drilled with a small drill on all 5 holes. This is unreadable. So just find you a good pilot drill that'll go through a 3/4 inch plate. I then stepped up. The outside holes are bigger than they look. That's a 21/64. That's one size bigger than 5/16. That's so your bolts will go in nice and smooth. Get the flange bolts. Flange bolt is the bolt that looks like it has a washer built into the head. Okay? Once you have all 4 of the outside holes and the inside hole drilled with the 21/64, take your step bit on the back side, but realistically it doesn't matter. You can flip the thing over. Don't go all the way through the plate with the step bit. See that black mark? You want to drill down about that far. I believe that's about 11/16, 5/8, something like that. Kind of worn off. I used the crap out of this thing, so it's not right. Now these are not new drill bits. You can do this with not new drill bits, but you will need a drill press. You can't do this with a hand drill. You're going to destroy your arm, your wrist, your drill, and whatever else you love in the world. Use a drill press. They're cheap. This is a Harbor Freight, Central Machinery, 5-speed. I mean, there. That's all you need. I mean, It's a cheap $60 drill press. I know, $60 is a lot for some people. That's all you need. You'll do it. Once you have it drilled, this will be the top side. The back side will look like this. This is the bottom. This goes towards the engine. Here, see if I can get a measurement here. And the very lip is 0.7. So, let's see. 45/64, which realistically 11/16. Yes. So, you're going to stop at 11/16 hole. You don't need any more because you don't want it to slip down onto the drive shaft. You don't want it to slip down past this collar. You want it to go over this collar, but you want it to rest on that ledge. On that ledge right there, you want it to rest right there. You take the nut that you've already broke loose, take the washer off, you don't need it. You put the nut back on. You run it down there. You don't have to run it down all the way, but you want to be able to feel that collar. You don't want to be on that collar. That collar is not where you want to be. You want to be on the nut. And you need the nut, because the nut is riding on the threads. You want a good thread engagement. You know, it's going to be tight again once you get it loose. You saw me. I had to use a bar to pop it off. But that's what you got to do for these engines. Briggs & Stratton makes a specialized puller for removing their flywheels. It's only like 16 bucks. But the only one that I've been able to find in my local area or online for a reasonable price is the small one. It'll only do 3 to 8 horsepower engine. This is a 17 horsepower engine. I spent $8, maybe $10 on grade 8 bolts. And the first 2 snapped. Well, the first one of 2 snapped. So you cannot use 2 bolts. It is not enough. You have to use 4 bolts. This is a flange bolt. See? Little washer. Strongest bolts available commercially as far as I am aware. Now, you do get some trash. I'll have to clean that out of there. I'll have to go back. I'll figure out which hole that was in on the, it's over here. Pretty sure it was probably that hole or that one. Now, you want good engagement on your bolts. I got 2 sizes. I got 2.5 and 3 inch. The more threads you can get in the plate, the better. Okay? You don't have to worry about bottoming out those threads. They go all the way through. If you go all the way through with the bolt, that's fine. Just so long as the bolt doesn't go all the way through and nail the engine block, because that's what's underneath. You're working in this ring right here. This is the alternator. My problem is a tiny little diode that's still even under this plate. I still got to take this plate off. Which means I got to take the alternator thingy off, or at least take it loose, and then I got to take this plate off. But that's something totally different. If you keep blowing solenoids, if you change your solenoid 3-4 times, if it keeps melting, on the battery side, you have this problem. There's a diode that comes off of here. One side of that wire right there, the black wire is DC voltage. The red wire is AC voltage. there is an inline diode somewhere underneath this plate. I hadn't got to it yet. You need to change that diode, because you'll blow your solenoid, it won't charge your battery, you'll come out, your battery's dead, and eventually your solenoids will burn up and die. I have one, I'll show you. Alright, this was a brand new solenoid. It lasted less than a month. See that? Right there? Melted. Just melted. This was a brand new solenoid. Lasted less than a month. Here's the original solenoid. Look at that. Melted so bad the damn thing's about to fall off. Now I also have a third solenoid, but I probably threw it away. It was even worse. I mean, it melted all the way down the side. The whole post came out. Just hotter than shit. Grass collects where that solenoid melts. Do not let this problem go. Don't just keep replacing the solenoid, because it will start a fire right between your legs. That's where the solenoid goes. Oh, and as an added bonus, that's right underneath the gas tank. If this solenoid burns out and catches on fire and there's grass in there, at the very worst, or at the very least, your lawnmower's done. Your yard's done. Heck, your house might be done, because, well, I mean, it's a gasoline fire. When that solenoid starts burning, your gas tank will blow up. Boom. Dead. Done. No. You can tell St. Peter at the pearly gates, well, I just kept changing the solenoid. He won't care. He'd be like, well, you're still dead. And you didn't leave a pretty corpse, because your ass is there. Fire's there. It's gonna burn straight in your face. Anyway, y'all have fun. Stay safe. I gotta get this diode out. And figure out from there.